Live from the Ram Cave, this is RamView, the June 29th, 2022 edition. It feels like I've been gone forever, but it has been great. I did try to run some shows up at camp, but I couldn't. I was at a youth training camp this last week called CIT Academy at a camp called Granite Ridge up in Creston, California, where we take young people and we develop them to be camp counselors. And it was fantastic. It was great. I can get real churchy with you. And I know you folks don't click on anything for church in terms of me. This is the Ram Cave. This is RamView. But that's where I was. And I felt like I missed some things. I felt like, oh, man, I just want to get back. And it is good to be back. Good to be back talking some Ram football. We're going to blast through this. Thank you for everybody that has clicked on, supported, asked questions. Hey, the Rams open training camp in Irvine on July 23rd. And it is interesting that we are approaching the start of July, and we're what 5 months away from the Super Bowl. It just feels like it was so soon. And right now everything's getting back in play. And there's good news is the Rams are set and ready to go. Everything that should be done is done. I'm not talking OBJ because OBJ, as I'm going to get into here, is just something that's down the road. But what needs to be done now is done now. And I'm not going to do comparisons. I'm not going to do, are the Rams getting any respect? Are the Rams, who's the top 10 wide receiver? It's like, come on, guys. It's like, I don't want to waste my time on this. So what's going on? I saw some buzz. I was playing some catch up a little bit in terms of what's buzzing out there, and there was some people dropping rumors that Could Suh should come back to the Rams. And you know what? I love the idea. I love it better in November. I don't really care about it right now in the summer. I think Suh is long in the tooth. I think Suh wants too much money. But if he wants to come in and chase a ring in November, by that point, we'll see where everything lands. If everything's good, then we don't need him. We don't need him, and we move on. But if there's players are banged up and we can get him at a cutthroat price because he wants another ring, then bring in Could Suh. That's my feeling about OBJ. I think the team is set, and we'll go over the wide receiver room here in a second. But I love OBJ. Of course, I want OBJ back, but I don't want to sign him right now. Wait until, and if he wants to go someplace else, then he can go someplace else. But we know this is the perfect fit for him, and the Rams hold all the leverage. Yes, I would love to have him back, but I don't need him back now. I like the Rams having money in the bank, so to speak, to make a move. Think about that. The Rams have some money in the bank, and they have a second and third round pick that they can play with in terms of bringing somebody else in later on. So that's interesting. One other question that came up too, because it was floating around and I got to talk about it, was if Baker Mayfield was a free agent, would do you think the Rams should sign him? If Baker Mayfield is released by the Cleveland Browns and the Rams can get him at the bare minimum, make the deal. It's like Tom says to Sonny in Godfather, you make the deal, Sonny, because Baker Mayfield is an NFL quarterback. Baker Mayfield is a playoff quarterback. Baker Mayfield is head and shoulders above the Wolf and Bryce Perkins at this point. And this is my biggest fear, is that everything collapses like a house of cards if something happens to Matthew Stafford. Should the Rams pursue Baker Mayfield? No. Should the Rams look to make a deal for Baker? Absolutely not. But if he's in the street, if he is put in the street by the Browns, which is really funny now because they kind of need Baker Mayfield now. But if he was in the street, absolutely you sign Baker Mayfield because he gives your team some semblance of a chance going forward in January, where I'm sorry, I'm just not into the Wolf. I feel like I say that all the time, but that is my fear. I think everything else, the Rams have depth, especially with Trayvon Howard coming back. Rams have depth everywhere across the board, but they are thin in the quarterback room. That's how I feel. And put that in your pipe and smoke it. So the other day on Monday, I did a Ram Cave and I posted it to try to get back into the things. And I mentioned happy birthday to Bobby Wags and Ben Skowronek. And that was great. No problem. Good responses and everything. But I made a couple of mentions and people got on my case a little bit for it. in the sense of Bobby Wagner. All I was saying, you're not going to move Bobby Wagner to the edge. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for a guy his age that still has his legs, that can still move, and he's playing on a team that's known to take someone like Jalen Ramsey and put him on the edge. Did you see when the Rams were doing that last year? They were moving pieces around, and the Rams have pieces around Bobby Wagner that could allow him to be flexible in certain things. He's got Ernest Jones. He's not playing next to Troy Reeder, okay? He's not playing next to Micah Kaiser. He's not playing next to Kenny Young. The Rams still have Ernest Jones. They won a Super Bowl with Ernest Jones playing that off-ball linebacker. And so Bobby Wag still has his legs under him, and I could see the Rams using creative ways to use him to go after the quarterback. You still have Donald to deal with. You still have Leonard Floyd to deal with. And I am very pro Justin Hollins, but if you got Justin Hollins, you also got Terrell Lewis. You also got Chris Garrett. And then, of course, there's the Hardy kid that everyone seems to like. Is that the Rams have so much talent now, I don't think they need to go out and make some big deal to bring in Robert Quinn. I like Robert Quinn, but I don't think you need to bring him in. He's kind of making a lot of money. So I was just suggesting that the Rams, given their history and with what we've seen as this Vic Fangio defense has morphed to what Brandon Staley did and has morphed into what Raheem Morris did, I am just a little interested in think there might be some creative usage for Wagner. His first job will be stuff the run, be off ball in coverage, and be a 10 times better version of Troy Reeder. But you still got Ernest Jones, who played really well. And so I think it offers some flexibility. In regards to Ben Skowronek, I am not saying Ben Skowronek is going to be a starter for the Rams or if he's going to be out in the field catching passes. Skowronek was a 7th round, 249th overall pick in 2021. Okay. And I shared on Monday what the Rams got out of him. After the offense and Cooper Kupp, he's like the 5th best blocker graded on the team. He blocks really well. And because he blocks really well, he minimized the loss of Tyler Higbee a little bit because I think he graded out at 82 against Tampa Bay. He was fantastic. And so Skowronek also, the reason he was on the field and the reason he was open at times is because the word on Skowronek is that he runs routes really well. His hands, manos de piedra, right? He's got hands of stone at this point, but he was a 7th round, 249th pick. And the Rams got clicks out of this guy throughout the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. He caught a couple passes. If he never plays another down for the Rams, that was a great draft pick. 7th round, 249. In the Rams wide receiver room right now, of course, is Kupp, Jefferson, Robinson, and Atwell. Okay. That's not even considering OBJ coming back in midseason. Then you got Skowronek, who's going to make the team likely, if not traded. Bryson Hopkins and Jacob Harris. Those guys are tight ends, but we also know they flex out, right? And then there's the other guys that are real long shots to make the team: J.J. Koski, Landon Akers, Lance McCutcheon, and Warren Jackson, who I've heard things about in various places. He's a guy to keep an eye on. But I could see Skowronek getting dealt. I could see stuff like that happening. But like I said, if he never plays another down for the Rams got value with the 249th overall pick in 2021. He's a heck of a special team player, and he's a blocker. There's room for Skowronek on this team. And so I just wanted to get that across. I'm not saying he's a starter. I'm not saying he's Ricky Prohl. I'm not saying he's Ed McCaffrey, probably built more like Ed McCaffrey, but he's not. So wanted to get that across. All right. I was reading one column I did read because I usually don't read too much. I just kind of hear what's flowing and trending and the stuff I'm seeing when I look at stuff. But the Rams only have 13.5 mil or 13.5 rocks in dead money this season. And that's really good news because, someone like Atlanta has over 63. I think Matt Ryan alone is costing them 40 to play for Indianapolis. So the Rams are only at 13.5. That's in the bottom tier of the league. So they're doing really well. So they've only got 13.5 million of dead money going out this year, but their roster is already set. So they're in great shape, especially that as of now, because no deals have been made going forward, but there could be, the Rams have no dead money in 2023. None. And so again, what we keep hearing, I keep hearing this from my friend and it's the Pittsburgh fan, Rob Sorge, loyal RamView watcher, Rob Sorge, out there in Missouri, the Pittsburgh fan. He started in California, moved to Missouri, is a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. Okay, whatever. But he's always saying, oh, wait, man, that bill's coming due. Well, the Rams have no dead money in 2023. So I'm asking, and that's of now, but I'm asking is when does that salary cap bill come due? I mean, well, when does it come due? I'm just waiting for it to happen. I've been hearing about it for 3 years now, and it hasn't happened, and the Rams keep producing. So I think we need to give credit to the Rams for knowing what they're doing. Around the NFL front, okay, Deshaun Watson, right? That news is going to be breaking pretty soon. Of the 25 lawsuits, 20 have been settled. And one other is, I think, going away or was thrown out. And they're waiting for what the NFL and the arbitrator and all them are going to say. The NFL is recommending he takes a year off and be suspended indefinitely until, he proves he's worthy, I guess. There's other news stories now claiming it's the Texans' fault. And I find that, come on, Texans' fault. So basically what we can also say that it's the Texans' fault, it's the Cowboys' fault, it's the Bengals' fault. Let's just sue every team when their player does something, it's always somebody else's fault, because it's always a money grab. But think about this. The Browns gave $230 guaranteed to Watson. So whether he's suspended, if somehow he ends up in jail, which he won't, and if he just he's got $230 guaranteed. How stupid is Cleveland? And then of course they alienate Baker Mayfield, which they should have found a way to deal him before they signed this monster contract. And now Mayfield's got them in leverage, right? Because do they really want to go with Jacoby Brissett? Or, will they bring back Deshaun Kaiser or something? Who are they going to bring in, right? Is Dr. Dave Mays available for the Browns? Can they bring in Mike Pagel? Don Strock? I'm thinking of all the guys that slipped in once or twice over the years. They're in trouble. The Browns are in serious trouble, and it's all of their own doing. And that's why it comes up to Mayfield is like, do they cut him loose? But they really can't cut him loose now because I think they need him. Or they're just going to basically give away this season. So it's interesting. Speaking of the Browns, I thought it was interesting seeing this. The Browns signed linebacker Dakota Allen. Some people say, huh? Who? Well, Dakota Allen was actually a Ram very briefly, but he's probably more well-known to people for the second season of Last Chance U on Netflix, which is a great show about players that end up at a JC in Mississippi that bounce back or they don't have the grades to get to a Division I school, and they play at a high end. Well, it's bargain basement, but it's high end at JC in Mississippi. It's the top JC in Mississippi. But Dakota Allen was in the second season. Was at Texas Tech, left Texas Tech, went back to Texas Tech, and got drafted by the Rams in 2019. 7th round, 251. Wow. Ben Skowronek was drafted 7th round, 249, and we know Ben Skowronek. Dakota Allen was drafted 7th round, 251 in 2019 by the Rams. Drafted ahead of him by the Rams in that same draft class, Taylor Rapp, Darrell Henderson, David Long, Greg Gaines, David Edwards, Nick Scott, and the only two that haven't really panned out, one is Bobby Evans, who's still on the roster and is getting one last shot this year, and Dakota Allen. Allen's bounced around with the Raiders, Jaguars, and Browns, and just recently just signed with the Browns. I thought it was kind of interesting that his name came up as we were talking about Deshaun Watson, but he was a 7th round, 251st pick of the Rams. Rams didn't get anything out of him. If he just played a little bit, would the Rams have gotten anything out of him? Look what Ben Skowronek did at 249 overall, 7th round. And the Rams already got value out of that pick. And so I use that to illuminate what Skowronek has done, and I'm glad Dakota Allen's still getting a paycheck. Let's see what else is happening. The Taxskins locked up Terry McLaurin, 3 years, $71 million extension. I like Terry McLaurin. Just doesn't have a quarterback, right? And marvelous as it may be, is I don't want anything bad to happen to people, but I'm not a New Orleans Saints fan. Their stuff is broken about Alvin Kamara, and he's looking at a suspension, maybe half the year, maybe 6 games. For being Alvin Kamara. And so that one doesn't break me up too much. Okay. Before we wrap up here, we get to the last segment. I'm Joe Toroyan, and you can follow me at JoeT13B at Twitter and Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and at joetarosian.com, where you can read some of my columns and you can follow me. And my books are on sale at Amazon. Tangent Dreams, Company of the Ages, and its follow-up novel, Temple City. Tangent Dreams, Temple City and the Company of the Ages is the follow-up novel, as well as my other explicitly Christian works, Sin Virus and The Dead Bug Tale. It's one of my favorite ones. You should check that out. It's very short. You can get it online in version as well as hard copy. Okay, that's the commercial. And want to wish happy birthday to former Rams tight end Troy Drayton, who turns 52 today. The Rams took Troy Drayton with much buzz. I remember that day. He was the second round, 39th overall pick in 93 out of Penn State, and 6'3", 260, but he was expected to be something real special. He played in the NFL from 93 through 2000 and was with the Rams from 93 through early 96 and never really turned into anything. But, of course, everything was bad with the Rams in those days. He played in 51 games, started 37, got traded to the Dolphins for a first-round bust named Billy Milner, who was a tackle that the Dolphins drafted in 95, 25th overall. And the Rams traded Drayton to the Dolphins for Milner, and Milner played in 10 games for the Rams, starting none in 96, and eventually hurt himself in a car accident, never played again. Drayton went on to have 3.5 solid seasons in Miami and 1 season in Kansas City before calling it a career. He finished with 243 catches, 24 TDs. I think he caught about 106 passes with the Rams. He actually was in camp with the Packers in 2001. But here's the interesting thing about Troy Drayton, he celebrates his 52nd birthday today. The Rams took him 39th overall in 1993. And the New York Giants had the next pick, the 40th pick overall, and they took Michael Strahan, Hall of Famer, with the 40th overall pick. So, strike another one for John Shaw, right? The Rams draft Drayton 39th overall in 93. The New York Giants draft Michael Strahan 40th overall. And that wasn't bad enough, is that in the third round, the couple other Hall of Famers went in the draft. In the third round, Will Shields went, and John Lynch, the current San Francisco GM. Will Shields was a guard with Kansas City Chiefs, and they all went in the third round. They were Hall of Famers too. But the Rams got Troy Drayton. Good for them, right? Again, I only highlight those things to emphasize that. To emphasize the point that you got to appreciate what you have right now. You got to appreciate it. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable, because what the Rams are doing now is uncharted territory in Ram history. And so appreciate every moment you have. And that's why I share that. Okay, that about wraps it up. We were about 18 minutes. I'm really happy with that time. And so I'm going to let you go. I'm going to try to get back here manana and keep talking Rams football. And we'll be going from there. Thank you so much for your clicks. Thank you so much for your likes. Thank you so much for the positive stuff. Burns, Brown, Shepard, Kistler, all you guys, everyone that's out there that clicks on. I so appreciate it. Chapala, thank you so much for everyone that has just given me the ability to just spread this a little bit. God bless, take care, and we will talk to you tomorrow.